A pleasant day to everyone. My name is Marcela Layos from Class 7D, and today I will be talking about neo-colonialism. Neo-colonialism is the control of less developed countries through indirect means by developed countries. This term was first used after World War II to refer to the continuing dependence of former colonies on foreign developed countries. It was coined by the French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre in 1956 and was first used by Kwame Nkrumah in the context of African countries undergoing decolonization in 1960. Neo-colonialism, unlike colonialism, uses indirect control through capitalism, globalization, cultural imperialism, and conditional aid to influence a developing country. Powerful countries will seek to exploit weaker countries as they did in their colonies in the past, when instead of using military force, they'll use the global economic system and their economic supremacy. A country will have political independence, but ultimately become too dependent on richer countries for economic and political issues. So the neo-colonial masters will indirectly control the state through that dependence. Many developing countries tend to be at the edge of the global economy, while developed countries like the United States are in the center. Underdeveloped countries are only capable of offering cheap labor and raw materials on the world market. These are sold to developed countries which are industrialized, so they have the ability to turn those raw resources into finished products. Underdeveloped countries like Nigeria or Bangladesh, who don't have the capacity to make their own products, will find themselves being the ones that buy the finished goods made by developed countries. These products tend to be sold at high prices, which ultimately means developing countries spend their money on buying goods rather than investing in their own industry so they can produce finished goods themselves. The result of this is a cycle in the world economy that keeps a division between rich economies and poor economies. Another way that neo-colonization can display itself is through financial aids and loans. International organizations such as the World Bank tend to be dominated by Western nations and will use its global influence to give aid to developing countries. More often than not, though, the aid will come with conditions. These conditions are used to indirectly control the economic policies of the country receiving aid. Loans will work the same way. Developing countries will often fall into debt from loans and need relief to prevent themselves from drowning in it. Loan relief will be another way that more powerful countries can exert influence on weaker countries. At this age and time, there's still a lot of work to be done to achieve total independence. France's former African colonies, for example, may be discarding their currency for a new one. But European countries will still have control over the currency for a large part of Africa. And these aren't the only issues either. Countries like China have been accused of luring developing nations in Latin America, Asia, and Africa into debt traps, which leads many to accuse the country of having neo-colonialist ambitions. Overall, neo-colonialism is a real issue within many countries. It's not talked about nearly as much as it should be, but developing countries need to address the issue effectively if they truly want to be more than just tools to enrich more powerful countries. That would be all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you and goodbye.